They told us to turn it down. They told us it was devil's music. They told us it wouldn't last. That was 1955. We're still here. It started with a 12-bar blues and a boy who couldn't sit still. A guitar plugged into something angry, a sound that gave the silence chills. Rock and roll was never meant to ask for your permission. It kicked the door clean off the hinges, and that was always the mission. 1955 and Chuck Berry Duck walked onto the stage. Little Richard screamed like the whole world was burning with rage. Elvis took the blues from the Delta and wrapped it in white. Ed Sullivan said cut him off, showed him waist up that night. Buddy Holly showed that rock could be both tender and loud, and died too young but left his music ringing through the crowd. Every power chord was a protest, every riff was a refusal, every sold-out show a courthouse where the verdict was a neutral. They called it noise, they called it danger, called it everything but art. But rock and roll just turned the volume up and spoke directly to the heart. This is the history of rock and roll, written in distortion, sweat and dirty soul. This is the history of rock and roll. Every broken string story, every stadium I go. From the juke joint to the arena, from the garage to the stage. Rock and roll was never music, it was fury on a page. How a guitar in the right hands made the whole world lose control. That's the beautiful, brutal history of rock and roll. The Beatles rewrote melody, the Stones rewrote the word. Hendrix set his guitar on fire, said if this is devil's music, then I'm burning down to heaven. Zeppelin built their stairway from the blues up to the sky. Woodstock put 500,000 souls on a field in the rain, and rock became the language of a generation's pain. Then punk said the kings had grown too comfortable on their thrones. The Clash said rock had politics, said music had a cause. Then Seattle woke up angry in the early '91. Nirvana blew the hairspray off with one song. It was done. A generation found its voice in three-chord poetry. They said rock was dead. They always say rock is dead. But somewhere in a garage right now, a kid just plugged in. From Sabbath's Heavy Thunder to the glam of Bowie's face, from Springsteen's working class anthems on the Jersey Shore, to Radiohead rewriting what a rock band's even for. Every generation gets its own prophets on the stage. The guitar and the drum kit never ran away to hide. This is the history of rock and roll, written in distortion, sweat and dirty soul. This is the history of rock and roll. Every broken string a story, every stadium a goal. From the juke joint to the arena, tells you that the guitar days are gone. Plug in, turn up, play loud, because the history of rock and roll was never written by the crowd. It was written by the kid in the garage who played too loud.